In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at the CCNA exam topics. So we're going to break down each topic to help you create a study plan, as well as decide on what to study. So if this is you, stay tuned. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell. Welcome to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. So one of the first things you need to do is to print out the CCNA exam topics. So the exam topics can be found on Cisco's website, as well as by just doing a quick Google search for CCNA exam topics. But pretty much what this exam topics is a list of things you may encounter during your certification, or a list of topics or technologies that you're going to be tested on. So you can use this as a guide when you're studying. And then also while you're printing out the exam topics, you can check out their certification roadmap just to see if there's any updates coming for the CCNA exam. Good thing is I've done that for you. And as of right now, there's no updates coming. So you're in the clear to start studying, or if you're already studying, keep on trucking. After printing out the exam topics, the next thing I recommend you to do is to identify your study resources. So this is when you're going to decide on which books you're going to use. Are you going to use the OCG, or are you going to use another book? Then you're going to decide on how you're going to do your labs, whether you're going to use Packet Tracer or you're going to go out and buy an application that has labs in it. And then you're going to decide on what practice exams you're going to use. Now, if you saw one of my earlier episodes where I go into detail of how I passed my CCNA, you can go check that video out because I do list some of the resources that I use. And then also I'll add a link to that video in the description of this video. From looking over the exam topics, they're broken down into the following. So you have describe and explain. Then you have some that say compare. And then, of course, you have a couple of them that tell you to configure, interpret, and then you also have troubleshoot and identify. So let's take a look at describe or explain. So with describe, they're going to want you to provide a more detailed account or characterization of a certain networking topic or networking concept. Then when explain, they're usually looking for you to have a more deeper understanding of that particular topic or that technology. So one way to help you out on these types of topics or these types of questions that you get is usually going to be your flashcards. So if you're one that make flashcards as you're going through and reading and looking at videos, you make your own flashcards. Usually flashcards is going to help with this because flashcards is going to help recall it and keep it in your memory. And then also, if you are fortunate enough to have someone else that's studying for the same exam, then you can create a study group or have a couple study partners, and then you can hold each other accountable, and then you can pretty much ask each other questions to kind of help with these types of topics or questions that you're going to see on the CCNA exam. So the next type of topic you may see on the exam starts with the word compare. So usually with the compare topics, they want you to look at some similarities as well as some differences of a networking protocol or a networking technology. One of the examples is they want you to compare TCP to UDP. So one thing that's going to help out on these types of topics or these types of questions is practical knowledge. So if you're already working in that environment, you're going to already have some working knowledge of this concept. So you're going to already know about it a little bit. You're going to already have experienced it a little bit. And then also, if you're not working in that environment, then just doing labs and reading and your videos is going to come in handy for these types of questions also. But a lot of times that practical knowledge, and also you can get practical knowledge just from being in a classroom setting. So if you're in a classroom setting and you're doing labs, and let's say that you do a lab and it's not working, you got to go and troubleshoot it. So a lot of times that's when the best learning come in, when you have to troubleshoot something, because after you figure it out, usually that's going to stick in your head because you're going to remember that, oh, last time I did this, I troubleshooted it for an hour, and then it ended up being this little simple thing here. So all of those is going to go into helping you to handle the topics that you see with the word compare. If you're finding value in this episode and you're listening via YouTube or your favorite podcasting app, please leave me a review or a comment. If you have a friend who needs to hear this, please share this episode with them. So the next topic you'll definitely see on the CCNA exam starts with the word configure. So with this configure, they're usually going to want you to set up a configuration or make some changes to a configuration. So with this, you definitely need the lab on this. So any topic you see that has the word configure, you definitely need to start doing some hands-on labs for this. So whether you're using Packet Tracer, you're using real equipment, or you have some other way of doing labs, you need to definitely lab on anything you see with the word configure. If you're running short on time and you're not sure what you need to lab on, look at the ones that say configure. Definitely do your labs on those type of topics. So the next type of topic you'll see on the CCNA exam starts with the word interpret. So usually with the interpret topics, usually they want you to be able to analyze some sort of log file or some kind of output information from your networking device. A lot of times for these types of topics or questions, this is where you might see some sort of drag and drop or something with some missing information you need to fill in. So to help you prepare for this is where you want to be able to, when you're doing your labs, a lot of times they give you the commands to verify your lab. So this is when you're going to do the show runs, the show IP route. This is when you want to get familiar with all those show commands, because your show commands is usually what you may see as a question where you may have to complete it, or you may have to tell what command was used to show that command. So a lot of times that's what's going to help you with the interpret types of topics on the CCNA exam. Next topic you're going to see on the CCNA exam starts with the word troubleshoot or identify. So usually with these, they're usually going to be a little bit harder because usually something is broken with it. So usually something is already configured and is broken, and you need to know how to fix it. So the only way to get good at doing this is by labbing. I know you're probably tired of me saying labbing, but that's the only way to get good at that is labbing. Because when you lab, that means that you're going to go through, you're going to learn that particular technology, and you're going to try to learn it inside and out. Therefore, when something is missing from it, it'll be easy for you to spot out, because when you're labbing, and they even have some troubleshooting labs out there available for you. So where you're practicing doing that troubleshooting process. So all of this is going to help with those troubleshoot or identify types of questions on the CCNA exam. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're studying for the CCNA exam, hopefully this helps you out. If you're on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, you can follow me at DebtFreeInIT. If you have any questions or comments, you can email me at debtfreeinit@gmail.com. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Peace.